So I'm going to interrupt that. Somebody pointed out that I've shown that, and I showed it very recently, actually. I just was not marked correctly in the database, and I apologize for that. Dag nabbit. It's a Monday, and you can tell it's a Monday because I have clown hair. I'm at the point where my hair isn't right, but I'm not going to go. I need to space out my barbershop visits due to COVID, so I'm just going to let it go crazy, as opposed to having it all slicked back and then have one tuft coming out. I don't mind having clown hair. Anyways, yeah, I apologize for duplicating, because I have plenty of other stock reels that I got from Cornet that I've been scanning, but this one was like, oh, this looks great. And anyways, I apologize. I'm Skip Alzheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show. Welcome February. Somebody asked in the comments, why would you have multiple scenes on a reel like that? And basically that is a bunch of outtakes. So they shot footage repeatedly, and all the outtakes ended up on these stock library reels in the hopes that at some point they would reuse it in another Cornet production. And we're scanning them for stock footage purposes, so it's okay to have multiple takes. It's February, right? So let's watch this.
February. February is a special month. Do you know why? It's a winter month, that's true. And where some of us live, we often have snow and ice in winter. That means fun. Fun in different ways. Fun in many different ways. In other places in our country in February, there isn't any snow or ice. The sun is bright and warm. In still other places, the weather is wet and rainy. But no matter what the weather is, or where you may live in this country, February is a special month. Let's look at the calendar to see why. How many days are there? Yes, February has only 28 days this year. Now, January had 31 days. And March, the month that comes after February, also has 31 days. April has 30 days. In fact, every month except February has either 30 days or 31 days. February has 28 days, except once every 4 years when it has 29 days. We call this leap year. But whether it has 29 days or 28 days, February is always the shortest month of the year. That's special, isn't it? Is there anything more that is special about February? Yes, it has 3 special days. One of these is February 12th. Do you know what is special about this day? It's the birthday of Abraham Lincoln. Do you know about February 14th? This is Valentine's Day, when we send valentines to our friends. The third special day is February 22nd. The birthday of George Washington. Do you know who George Washington was? He was the first president of our country. He was born more than 200 years ago. Much of our country was wilderness when George Washington was a boy. There were not many schools in America then, so George could not go to school every day as you do. Still, he learned much by talking to people, such as this surveyor, and by watching people work. We can imagine how carefully he would watch. He wanted to learn as much as he could. He was very honest. Everyone liked him and trusted him. This is how he looked when he grew up. When he was a man, George Washington became a general in the army. He led our soldiers in the Revolutionary War, and he helped us to win our freedom. He was brave, a great leader, and his countrymen loved him. Then, after our freedom had been won, George Washington became our country's first president. The capital city of our country is named for our first president, Washington. In this city you can see the Washington Monument, built to honor the man who is known as the father of our country. So his birthday, February 22nd, is a special day. Now let's look at another special day. February 12th is Abraham Lincoln's birthday. Abraham Lincoln was born in a log cabin more than 100 years ago. When he was a boy, he read a great deal after he had finished helping his mother and father with the day's work. When Abraham Lincoln grew up, he was friendly with everyone. And still he read whenever he could. He wanted to learn many things. People in the town where he lived liked him. He was one of the most honest young men they had known. And that's why they called him Honest Abe. They trusted him and respected him. Many years later, he was elected President of the United States. Today, people from all over the country visit a great monument to Abraham Lincoln in our nation's capital. His birthday is February 12th. Well, 2 of the special days in this month are birthdays of presidents of our country. But what about the 3rd special day? February 14th, Valentine's Day. This is a happy time when we see many hearts, because on this day especially, we tell people we care about them. We give hearts to say we are giving our love and friendship. We give valentines to our family. We send valentines to friends and relatives who live far away. And we give them to our friends who live near us. This is a special day for telling people that we care about them. In our class, February will be a busy, happy month as we learn and tell about the special days. Do you remember what day is George Washington's birthday? Do you remember how he learned things when he was a boy? Could you tell why he is called the father of our country? Could you make a cabin like the one in which Abraham Lincoln was born? What day is his birthday? Do you remember how, as he grew up, Abraham Lincoln spent much of his time reading? Of course, you remember what day is Valentine's Day. And of course, you know why this is one of the happiest days in February, and in the whole year.
Those Valentine's cards were awesome. The one with the dial mine. Wow, really great. James, thank you so much for the coffee. We need it today. It is gray outside. Now, we're not getting the precipitation that some of you to the north and the west of me are. All we got was rain yesterday. All weekend was just gross. So I felt like just hibernating. So the coffee is much appreciated. So thank you. This next film, we've got it on the telecine here, is about new friends. And you guys are all new friends to me. So this film, which I have not seen, could potentially go out to you, or it might be ironically titled. Here it is, New Friends.
Well, where's Howard? Is he gone again?
Well, we just can't wait any longer.
I know, it's time to fly south. We better get a move on.
Where did the ducks go?
Up in the air.
I know that.
Then they turn left.
No ducks. Is this south?
No, stupid. This is New York City.
New York City? It's not south. It's cold. It's not supposed to be cold. Oh, I must have made a wrong turn someplace.
Hey,
Huh?
Mac, are you a pigeon?
No, I'm a duck.
Good. I don't like pigeons. Come on in.
Is it warm in there?
Warmer than the street. First visit to the big city?
Yeah, first visit.
I'll give you a sightseeing tour of New York if you like. Hop aboard. My name is Rex.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Howard.
Directly overhead is Radio City Music Hall. You know, a song and dance joint. Lots of girls, lots of music. Lots of people went on to be stars from performing right here.
Oh. Where are we now?
Under the Empire State Building, world's third tallest building. You know, my mother took me here when I was just a little tadpole. Of course, then it was the tallest building in the world, and people were really impressed.
Rex?
This is the Museum of Modern Art. Nice, huh?
Rex.
Got a lot of crazy pictures and stuff in here. You know, you got your Van Gogh, and your Renoir, and then there's Picasso, and your Monet.
Thanks for the tour, Rex.
Hey, my pleasure, Howard. Come back again and I'll show you the World Trade Center.
Gee, I can hardly wait.
Ooh, pigeons. Hey, take care of yourself, Howard.
Hey, who's that?
Who, me?
Yeah, you. This is pigeon territory.
Yeah, those are our crumbs.
Shove up. Yeah, beat it. Come on. Bring it around.
So cold. I sure could use some shut-eye. I'm cold and tired without a reservation.
What's the matter?
Huh?
Are you new here?
Are you lost?
No place to stay? I'm Horace. That's Wallace, and he's Albert.
Oh, how do you do? My name's Howard.
You look cold, Howard.
I am.
Well, come in. It's nice and warm in here, and we have a lovely piece of tinfoil fell out of the fireplace.
Yeah, gee, how long have you been here?
A couple of days, but it's not too bad. Albert found it. Not many places to stay these days.
Where is Albert?
Oh, he's asleep. Oh, speaking of sleep, I shall say good night. Sleep tight, Howard.
Thank you. Good night.
Goodness, I forgot this is garbage day.
Oh, well, it was nice while it lasted.
Hey, watch your step.
Sorry, I was looking for a warm place.
Well, don't get your hopes up. Nobody's got one.
Too bad we can't get in this building.
Yes, but it's been locked for years.
Maybe there's a way. Let's take a look at the roof.
But how are we gonna get up there?
Oh, wow! I've never flown before!
Oh my goodness! Hey, over here. You guys wait, I'll take a look-see.
Be careful, Albert!
It's okay, come on down.
Wow, this is great.
Goodness, this place is huge.
It's beautiful.
Terrific. Simply
Yeah.
wonderful.
Boy, it sure is.
Let's go tell everybody.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I like this place a lot. Come on, you
We can
guys.
stay all winter. That's all. Now you can get yourself. Well, how do you like it, Rex?
It's terrific, Howard. Just terrific. Sure beats living in the sewer. Hey, when's the show start anyway?
Tonight, Rex.
New show every night.
What's a cucaracha?
it.
I guess that doesn't include us.
Nothing lasts forever, especially in New York.
But at least it's warm now. We can sleep outside.
And we can see the sights. That was great.
I say, a spectacular fly.
Yeah.
Look, that's my group. Gee, he didn't even say goodbye.
I guess ducks like ducks.
It was a nice friendship while it lasted.
Nothing lasts forever, especially in New York.
Did you come to say goodbye?
No, I already said goodbye. Goodbye to the ducks.
You said goodbye to the ducks?
Gee,
It wasn't easy,
I
I
sure it was.
Good call with the Patty Deutsch voice work. I didn't recognize most of those names, but 1981, New York City, Howard the Duck, based on a book, series of books, children's books it must have been. What an interesting view of New York City. I definitely like waking up with the garbage cans, because that is my recollections of staying in the city is 4 o'clock in the morning, garbage trucks come through and wake me up. All right, let's see. This film was made by the USDA, and it's about a tree bank, or tree banks. Here we go, enjoy.
In recent years, much progress has been made in planting trees. Today, throughout America, there are successful forest plantations on more than 5 million acres. Many of these plantations are on well-kept farms across the country, where progressive farmers are using trees to increase the value of their land. We'd like you to meet one of these farmers, Roy Nelson and his son Don. Exhibit A in a case we are about to present on the many values of growing trees on the farm. The Nelsons find slack season work in their well-managed plantation of trees and extra dollars to add to the regular farm income. And that's not all. With trees to protect the soil, there's less chance of erosion, and usually good clean water in steady supply. Where the trees grow, adjacent to fields and pastures, you'll find wildlife too, because there will be food and cover for them. Where the trees grow, you'll have scenic beauty and opportunity for outdoor fun. Yes, sir, the Nelsons are getting full value from the trees they planted. Of course, Roy Nelson is not the only American farmer who has had the foresight and initiative to plant trees. Other farmers and landowners who have put trees in the ground are sharing in the many dividends that growing timber yields. Over and above the benefits of soil protection, wildlife, and beauty, they too have learned that there's money in the trees they have planted. They find there's a good market for small timber in pulpwood. There's also a market for posts and poles. They get these short-term products as intermediate crops by thinning the thickly growing young stand of trees. Opening up the plantation and letting the daylight in helps the trees that are left to grow faster for future crops. In the south, there's a market for tree gum. Turpentining gives additional income, an extra payday from trees that will be cut later to thin and improve the stand. Farmers who got into tree planting early are cashing in, not only on intermediate crops, but from the sale of logs for lumber. For some farmers, the greatest value they get from the trees they plant is in the form of shelter belts, trees to shield their crops from the drying wind, trees to make their farm life more pleasant and enjoyable. Now we leave it up to you. Isn't this plantation of trees pretty? And can't you almost see the dollar signs hanging on the branches? Under the Soil Bank Act, there's a wonderful opportunity right now to plant trees. Farmers in particular can get into the nationwide tree planting program at a considerable savings in cost, and in a short time, start to reap the earnings from their tree bank. There's a lot of land that's eligible for planting as part of the Conservation Reserve. Land that, up to now, has regularly been used for crop production, including tame hay. Of course, cropland that is eroding or otherwise run down is ideally suited for planting trees. Trees could help hold down the soil and hold back the water. Many people are wondering if there will be enough trees to plant the land that is eligible under the soil bank. Well, in public and commercial nurseries across the nation, millions of seedlings are growing right now, and room is being made for more. You see, it doesn't take much space, really, to grow the little fellows. In just one of these beds, there are more than 30,000 seedlings. Enough trees to plant 30 to 60 acres, depending on how far apart the trees are planted. Up to now, the smallest state nursery has been producing 1 million tree seedlings a year. The largest nursery up to 35 million. Right now, however, in forest nurseries all over the country, both state and commercial, the theme is expansion, with work going on at an accelerated pace to grow the planting stock needed for the soil bank job. It takes real care and know-how to operate a successful nursery. The seed beds must be carefully prepared. The beds are leveled off and packed firmly. The seeds are sown by hand or by machine. Just the right amount goes into each bed. Then they are covered with sand or a mixture of sand and sawdust to help them germinate. Protection is afforded by mulching and by shading. Weeding is a necessary operation in every nursery. Tree seedlings need plenty of water for proper growth. Depending on the kind of trees and where they are grown, it takes from 1 to 3 years before they are big and strong enough to leave the nursery. A special device is used to lift the young trees from the ground. Then they are lifted out by hand, and the loose soil is shaken off. Careful handling is essential at all stages, right through packing and bundling. These seedlings will go to farmers participating in the soil bank program. The truck has 80,000 pine seedlings aboard, enough to plant 100 acres or more. Like other farm jobs, planting trees is no snap, especially if you have to do it by hand. And that's the way it often has to be done, particularly on small areas. Of course, when you get your neighbors to join in a planting bee, the job goes faster. If the trees are to live, their roots must be kept moist right up to planting time. And the seedlings must be planted right. Again, careful handling, roots straight down, correct depth, and solid packing. Sometimes small machinery at hand can be adapted for planting trees. Just the right spacing, and you can plant a lot of trees in a short time. On larger fields where the going is good, a tree planting machine really puts the trees in the ground. This one will plant up to 1,000 or more trees an hour. After the trees are planted, they still need some care, just as any valuable crop does. You've got to keep livestock out and fire too. A plowed or disked strip makes a good fire break. Sometimes, just like a cornfield, a young plantation needs weeding. Cutting out the undesirable brush and low-value trees will give the planted trees more living room. Almost from the start, a plantation of trees adds to the value of a farm. Of course, in some places, trees grow faster than in others. It depends on what kind of trees they are and on the growing conditions. But whatever their age or size, tree plantations start yielding early returns in soil and water conservation, in shelter for wildlife, and in creating a more pleasant environment for those who actually work and live on the land. Sooner or later, the plantation starts paying off in dollars and cents, too. And that gets us back to Exhibit A, the Nelsons. Through the years since Roy first planted these trees, the Nelsons have taken pride in their plantation. They have nursed it, protected it, worked in it, and are now reaping a well-earned harvest, with more to come. The Nelsons are living proof that planting trees and taking care of them does pay off. pays off in many ways, including hard cash. Well, that's our case on the value of planting trees. There's no doubt about it. You can bank on trees, because trees are like money in the bank. If you are eligible under the Soil Bank Act, if you have land that might well be taken out of crop production and put into trees, see your county agent or local ASC committeeman for information. When you're ready to plant, your state forester can furnish technical assistance. The young trees you plant today will quickly grow in value and become your tree bank of tomorrow.
Your tree bank. Having grown up in a rural part of North Carolina, there were many crop areas that were dedicated to forestry. And you would sell the logging rights to your land, and then it would come in and clear it out after it had matured. And it was kind of devastating to see all those trees go. You know, you would replant them, but yeah, it was that's just kind of the way it was, you know, when you're in a farming area. All right, this next film, it said on the can, fundamentals, and I want to show you this can. So this is like a mailer can. It's imprinted with the Bureau of Audiovisual Instruction's University of Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin. And it's kind of interesting. It's not Plylo. Plylo is a brand of mailer. This one's kind of crazy. So the thing is that the idea is that somebody would order this or rent it, and it would be mailed, and you would get it. You send it media rate via the post office or library rate, and then you would try to open it. And what I found is my interns have a lot of problems opening these cans because they're back some. You've got these little dots that you've got to rotate, and with the Plylo cans, you have to twist something. But this one is you actually have to push here, press that down, and then you have to rotate. It's like a puzzle box. You rotate it out. Hold on. It requires two hands. And so this kind of rotates around. It's not a very great way to display this, but this pops out. And then but it's a pretty cool design. Look at that. It's got this kind of rib thing here that helps kind of strengthen it, and you have a kind of this well where the film goes. Plylos don't have something that is defined as that. And then this is where your mailing label goes. It's pretty cool. And they spent the money on that. I'm sure they spent a bunch of cash, probably $5 back in 70s dollars. Okay. Where are we? This film, it said on the can fundamentals. It didn't say anything else. So I really don't know what this film is. So we'll watch it together. It's sterling education. Let's see what this is. All right, here we go. Enjoy.
It is around us, everywhere. There's electricity on and through all of these objects. On a dry day, a crackling sound may be heard when combing the hair. Rub a balloon with a piece of cloth, and it sticks to the wall. Everyone at one time or another has turned on a light or started a motor. Electricity is energy moving from one place to another. A hand flicks a switch and a light goes on. Energy moves through the switch to the light. A man can use a hand drill to make a hole in wood. But he can do it faster with electricity just by starting a motor. Electricity is energy that works for us. If a comb is run through the hair on a dry day, both the comb and the hair are electrified or charged. When the comb is held near the hair or near light bits of paper, it attracts them. This ability to attract is one characteristic of charged bodies. There are two kinds of electrical charges, one positive and the other negative. Unlike charges of electricity, attract. But similar charges repel. Some things can be electrified by rubbing. There is one kind of charge on the piece of silk and another kind on the glass rod. They attract because they are differently charged. Some things charged by rubbing will attract some substances and repel others. These balloons are both made of rubber. When they are charged by being rubbed with the wool, they will repel each other. They repel each other because they have the same charge. If a substance with a different charge is held near the balloon will attract it. The woolen cloth is also attracted by the balloon because there is a different charge on each. Substances that have unlike charges will attract each other. One has a positive charge. The other has a negative charge. Like charges will repel each other. With a pair of scissors, cut a long strip from a newspaper. Fold it in two and draw it through the fingers of one hand. The loose ends repel each other because they have the same charge. The loose ends of paper are attracted to the hand because it has an opposite charge. But the pieces still repel each other. The glass rod is charged by rubbing it hard with a piece of silk. It now has a positive charge. The pith ball has no charge, but it is attracted towards the rod. Now electrify a hard rubber rod by rubbing it with a piece of fur or wool. It receives a negative charge and also attracts a ball. Charged bodies will attract uncharged bodies. With the charged glass rod, touch both of the balls. They each receive some of the positive electric charge that the glass has and repel each other. The hard rubber rod with the negative charge affects the balls in the same way. Since they both pick up a negative charge, they repel each other. Like charges repel. If each of the two balls have a different charge, they will attract each other. One ball has a positive charge, and the other has a negative charge. Unlike charges attract. We do not create electricity when we rub substances together, but simply separate the two kinds of electricity, negative and positive, already in the substance. Every substance is made up of millions of tiny invisible atoms, something like this. Each atom is like a miniature solar system. In the center is the sun, or the nucleus, made up of many particles including protons and neutrons. The electrons, or negative particles, revolve in orbit around the nucleus. The strong positive charge of the protons in the nucleus holds the negative electrons in their orbits because unlike charges attract each other and because of centripetal force. When a balloon is rubbed with a woolen cloth, the electrons on the outer fringes of the wool are moved to the balloon. They are, so to speak, ripped away from the cloth. Some of the electrons located on the cloth are left on the balloon. The wool lost some electrons and so has more protons, and we say that it is positively charged. It will now attract anything that is either uncharged or negatively charged. The balloon has picked up extra electrons from the wool and has become negatively charged. The particles of electricity are called electrons. They are attracted by positive charges called protons, and both are found in every atom. Electrons move from a place having a surplus of electrons to a place having a lack of electrons. With an electroscope, we can find out how the charges of some materials are different from each other. One type of electroscope consists of an 8-ounce glass collecting bottle fitted with a cork, through which a copper wire is inserted, with a knob in the top, and two 1-inch strips of fine silver foil, called leaves, in contact with the end of the rod. With a piece of cloth, rub a balloon to charge it. Now, when we touch the electroscope with the balloon, the leaves spread apart as they both receive the same charge. Touching the electroscope with the finger removes the charge, and the leaves come closer together. A comb can be charged by running it through the hair. Touch the electroscope with the comb, and the leaves again spread apart. When we rub a metal rod with wool, the rod is not able to charge the electroscope. The rod is a conductor, and surplus electrons are quickly led off the metal through the hand and body down to the ground. We say that these electrons are grounded. Metals are good conductors of electricity. They have many free electrons. Electrical energy is transmitted through a conductor with the movement of these free electrons. Glass, plastic, and rubber do not have many free electrons. They are called insulators. A permanent charge can be placed on the electroscope by bringing the balloon close to the ball, touching the ball with the finger, and removing the finger, then the balloon. This is called charging by induction.
So it kind of was called Fundamentals. Interesting. Learn something new every day. Stop! Do not rewind after last screening. Leave end showing. This is one of the many pieces of paper that shows up in a can of films. There's another one that has a police officer, looking like this. And then there's a hand drawing of a teddy bear. It's really fascinating to see what shows up in these cans of film, beyond the film themselves. So, thanks everybody for tuning in today. I hope that this is the start of a great February for everybody. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know why, because I got nowhere to go but look up. So, I appreciate you guys tuning in. And we'll be back tomorrow. Watch some more films. Learn about new things. It's so exciting. I actually really enjoy this. I am sad that we have a pandemic that we're dealing with, but I very much enjoy showing you these films. And so thank you for being there. And as always, see, this is what's funny. This says please rewind. So there's this back and forth depending on what library it was. So some of them want you to rewind and to love each other, and some of you want you to stop and to leave the end showing. So somewhere in between those two lies happiness. So I'll let you choose your path. Everybody take care, and I'll see you soon.